leading the way on air, online, and on the go. From WLWT, this is Issues.
Hello, welcome to Issues. I'm Jan Michelle Lemon-Kearney of Sesh Communications and the Cincinnati Herald. A little later, we're going to talk to Lydia Morgan about Juneteenth. It's a great celebration that's coming up, a lot of history and a lot of good things happening. First, we're going to talk about a kind of scary subject, but we've got a team here that's going to help you be less afraid and it's going to get you ready, and we're talking about home invasions. So let me introduce our guest. I've got Tim Brennan, and he's the Chief Operating Officer for Second Defense Alliance.
Hi, Jan. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for
and
having
we've
us.
got Matt Collins, and you're one of the customers.
Yes, ma'am.
And we'll find out in a minute why you signed up. And you're a fairly new organization. Tell us about Second Defense Alliance.
Well, the organization started up in the fall of last year. So it's a new organization. It's a membership organization. And we provide financial and emotional support services in the event a member has a home invasion self-defense shooting.
Yeah, see, that's really, I mean, it's a scary topic, but now tell us the stats, because you were giving me this huge number for home invasions.
So the Justice Department reports about 3.7 million home invasions or burglaries a year in the United States. So it's very significant, the number of home invasions or burglaries that happen every year, and about 54 million households now own a firearm in the United States.
Wow.
Gallup reports about 70% say they own the firearm for protection, and women, even higher percent of people women own it for protection.
Wow. And so, and I was going to say, in this area, I know we've been hearing a lot about home invasions, and are they more so in the summer? It seems like crime goes up in the summer.
Yeah, they tend to go up in the summer just because of the weather, and it's easier to get out,
Right.
and so they do tend to go up.
And one of our other guests was saying how she was the victim of a home invasion. She thought it was her husband downstairs, and she called out. He didn't answer. She didn't think that was any big deal. It was only about 9:30 at night. Turned out it was someone who had invaded her home.
Yes, we were talking to her earlier. I mean, fortunately, she didn't encounter the person while they were in the home, because then you just don't know. They get desperate, and you don't know what's going to happen.
Right. So now, Matt, you're a customer. Tell us about your story.
Well, I'm married and I have 3 children, and we own a firearm for protection in the home. I had recently gotten my concealed carry permit, and the instructor started talking about the consequences if you do have an incident in your home. And so looking in my homeowner's insurance, there's no kind of protection or assistance in the event that a situation arises.
So, and that's interesting, because as we were saying, a lot of gun owners think that their insurance covers them, but that's not necessarily true.
In fact, most gun owners don't, what our experiences don't even think about what happens after. They think about what they want to own to protect themselves. They think about possibly if they would have to encounter somebody and defend themselves or their family, and it pretty much stops there. But then when it does happen, they find out that there are no support services out there for a normal citizen, a normal family person that protects their family. Once you encounter and defend yourself, you're on your own.
And it's, you know, the scary thing about that is, you know, the consequences. Okay, so if you end up defending yourself and, you know, harming or killing the person who's the invader, that's, you know, that's one thing you have to deal with. You deal with all the legal ramifications, the emotional ramifications
Correct.
of that. But if someone in your family gets hurt, you've got that plus more.
Right.
Correct.
So, all right, so then we would call Second Defense Alliance. Hopefully we're already members.
Correct.
So we call you, and then let's talk about all these different services, because you're talking about boots on the ground support. I like that, boots on the ground.
Yes.
So what happens?
So
Somebody invades our home, we've got our
and
firearm.
you encounter and you've shot somebody and they're injured or possibly killed in your home. It could be more than one person. We'll be there to start facilitating the process, to help you through that process. So obviously first, to make sure your legal representation is there immediately, because you have to be very careful what you say, whether it's on the 911 call or when the police show up. The police are going to show up to get control of the situation. They don't know who you are,
Right.
and you could possibly have a dead person in your living room or in your kitchen.
Right.
So they're coming to understand what happened and to investigate. Once they get control of the situation, and they investigate. That's going to go to a grand jury. All shootings, whether they're civilian or police, they go to a grand jury for investigation. So you need an attorney, even if you were in the right, that person was in your home.
Even if it's self-defense, you need
correct.
representation.
Yes,
you need
do.
legal representation.
You do.
Absolutely.
You know, the police officers have support, rightfully though. They have a lot of support in the system once they're engaged in a shooting. They're taken out of service immediately, and they have representation. They also have access to counseling. Anybody that's involved in this should go get counseling. You can imagine if your children have seen this happen in their home. So you want to get your family counseling. So we provide the funding and the finances for that. We will find you the proper counseling. The mess that's in your house, no one ever thinks about that.
Right, because on television everything is so clean
Correct.
and it's not a big deal, but in real life it's another story.
It's in real life, the people show up to investigate, the policemen to get control, the coroner possibly comes and takes away. You're left with the mess, and so you don't want to have to clean that up. So we have a company that we work with called Aftermath Inc. They're out of Chicago. They're a national company. We work with them, and they would come in and do the cleanup, and then we would pay for that.
And that's something, you know, that's something we would just never think about. I mean,
No.
those are things. And then, you know, I like the healing process, the kind of counseling support, because you don't just go, oh, you know, I've shot somebody now, carry on, let me go grocery shopping. I mean, it's traumatic.
Sure, it's very much post-traumatic sets in with a lot of people, with a lot of police officers, and they're trained. Hours and years of training for these incidences, and they go through it. So
And we're not trained, really.
No,
Yeah.
and it's just not something, it's not natural.
Right.
To shoot somebody and to kill somebody, but it is natural to protect yourself and your family.
Right.
And so when you have to do that, you know, we'll be there to support you.
So there's a counseling service, and then you even help with the funeral process in case,
If the worst
you know,
thing would
heaven
happen,
forbid,
yes,
someone in your family gets
correct. If the
gets
worst thing
killed.
happens, we also facilitate that.
So I would think okay, so Matt, how do you feel having the Second Defense Alliance, and you've got children, a wife and kids, and
It does help give peace of mind that there is support, that in the event something does happen, I'm not on my own, that I have the team behind Second Defense Alliance to be able to come in and help get life back to normal as quickly as possible.
now what about training in terms of, you know, using the gun and all that? Were you able to go through that? I mean, I would think a lot of people buy guns for self-defense, but do they know how to use them?
I can't speak for everyone, but for myself and my family, yes. We've all attended a lot of the NRA certified firearm programs. There is a prerequisite, the state of Ohio, for your concealed carry. You have to go through X number of hours, both in training on the firearm as well as coursework.
Okay.
So yes, I feel very comfortable that my family understands and understands firearms and how to be around them safely.
Okay. And then that's the other thing, having a firearm in your house with children. I mean, how do you maneuver that?
They are kept under lock and key. And
Okay.
so it's not something that none of the children have access to, only my wife and I. And it's not something that, it's just something that stays out of sight and hidden and only used if we need it.
And that's really important, because even people who say they've trained their children about safety, they need to lock it up.
Yes.
Lock it up. Okay,
Yes.
so right, and that's great. I'm glad you're doing that. Let's give a phone number for Second Defense Alliance.
The phone number for if you want to sign up to be a member, again, information is 855-367-7321.
You know, I have to ask you again. For those radio listeners, okay.
855-367-7321, or really easy to go on to our website, mysecondDefenseAlliance.com. It literally takes 3.5 minutes to go through the process of signing up. But there's a lot of information on there that people can look through and learn.
That's great. Okay, and of course we'll log you on through WLWT.com,
Okay.
and we'll link to My Second Defense Alliance.
Great.
So thank you so much,
No,
Tim.
thank you.
Thank you.
Matt. Really good, a tough topic, but really important information.
Thank
that
you very
Second
much.
Defense Alliance.
Appreciate
okay,
having us. Thank you.
Stick with us. We'll be back in a moment to talk about Juneteenth.